Hello, my name is Randy Williams, proud member, also CEO of Keiretsu Forum. We're a global community of angel investors. We are filming here in Silicon Valley. This is moving on to our second year. If you like to look at past presentations, they're 30-minute segments. Some are 15, some are 30. And please do on Keiretsu Forum Presents on YouTube. Today I have a wonderful guest, friend, and also President International Keiretsu Forum, Judy Iglehart. And we're going to have some fun today. We have two segments. First 15 minutes, we're going to talk about the evolution, the history, the magic of Keiretsu Forum, how we've gone from one chapter to 52 around the world. The second 15 minutes, we're going to talk about what's next, the 2020 plan. What's the vision for the members? So we're going to have some fun today. So, Judy, nice to see you.
Thank you, Randy. It's wonderful to be here and to have time to spend with you.
And so my first question, how did you hear about us? What, 12 years ago, and how'd you get involved? So tell us about yourself, your background, and your role now.
Oh, well, my goodness. I spent many years working for the University of California, and as part of that I had an economic development portfolio and was active in helping set up the Bay Area Regional Technology Alliance. And then in time I moved over to run that. And I was putting on an event at Children's Hospital of the East Bay, and we invited you to come and look at our early stage companies. And this is a time when most angel groups didn't travel. And you came, and I remembered that. And then a few months later, I was interviewed for the business magazine, How Did I Like Running BARDA Tech Ventures? And one of the questions after they ask you, what have you been doing? What kind of car do you drive? They ask, who are your competitors? And I said, well, we really don't have any competitors because we're a 10-county program, but the person that I really have the most respect for in the group is Keiretsu Forum, because they take the time to come and meet the entrepreneurs, and they wrote it up in the paper, and subsequently you told me that you were reading it at home one night, and you were kind of stunned to see the accolade for yourself, so you called me up, we went out to lunch, and that's sort of how the whole thing started.
Well, it's accolade for our wonderful community Keiretsu Forum, but I remember in bed, I don't know if many people see this in the Business Times, says, who's your competitor, and they said, well, Google or Facebook, or and you said, well, I respect this competitor, this is Keiretsu Forum. So I called Judy and I said, let's get together. I like that because I personally think we're in a collaborative ecosystem. We share knowledge to other angels, through other angel groups, and I too wanted to share it with BARDA when you were running BARDA, Bay Area Regional Technology Alliance. And so, okay, so that was now 14 years ago?
Oh, golly, probably 2002. That was before I joined Keiretsu Forum. And it was interesting because many of your original sponsors, like Don Renke at Reed Smith and a whole team of guys around the Bay Area, were also working with us to identify and assist very early stage companies.
Well, I probably stole them from you.
You did. But I didn't care.
Yeah.
I did care, but there wasn't much I could do about it.
So then moving forward to from BARDA, then you said, gee, I want to join Keiretsu, and then I'm sorry, your wonderful husband, who was a judge, passed away, and you also wanted to find purpose and also next step in life by being an angel investor.
Well, I didn't know anything about private equity investing, and I knew a fair amount about it because of the work I'd done at BARDA, but it's like anything else. But you're right, my husband passed away very unexpectedly, and all of a sudden I was responsible for our family's financial success. And as you know, women live longer than men, and they end up with all the money, and I've always said that at Keiretsu Forum, so we need to invite more women to be part of what we're doing. At the time, I think I was the 4th woman member, but now, we're up to about 16%, and we have the most marvelous group of women around the world working with us to train angels and to work with these companies, so it's been fun.
Great. Let's digress for one moment in regards to the shows. What I mentioned earlier in the program is that we've had myriad of shows, and we've had Shahar Alexis on talking about women and in investing, and this has been kind of a year for Keiretsu Forum with women. I had Allison Davis, Matthew Lemurl's wife, come at the expo. We had 500 of us gathered there, and we talked about roles. And I mean, personally, the essence I miss is because I'm not. Like, for instance, Sephora. Sephora is a 13X4. It's a sonic care for your face. And
Clarisonic.
Clarisonic, excuse me.
Clarisonic.
Not Sephora, Clarisonic. And my wife wasn't at the forum that day. And I was really concerned about the IP being stolen. which it eventually did. But fortunately, there's a wonderful exit with Clarisonic.
Yeah,
L'Oreal, excuse me. L'Oreal bought it, and it was a 13x for us. So if you invested at Keiretsu Forum that date, it was a $65,000 investment, turned into $785,000, and that was brought to us by our women members in the Northwest.
In Seattle, that's right.
Yeah, and so not only women have wonderful knowledge, but they bring great deal flow too.
They do, and they also know what not to invest in. We had a wonderful company that will remain unnamed that were building purses, and the purse market is very tough to get into. And the men loved the company. They loved the woman. They loved her excitement, enthusiasm. All the women in the room went.
Yeah. So check out those shows. We have Sahara did one, then we have Cross Border. What are some other shows we've done before we dive into the magic of Keiretsu Forum? We've done Cross Border Investing.
We've done Keiretsu Forum in Japan.
Yep.
We have done term sheets. We have done one on how to manage your board if you have a board. If you go to YouTube, there are 5 pages of channels. What we're using them for more than anything today is training for our offshore chapters. People don't always get the chance to come to the United States, and so at the beginning of every chapter they show a 15-minute segment or a 30-minute segment, and people get to know us.
Okay, so for the viewers or listening this here in Silicon Valley or throughout the globe, what is Keiretsu Forum?
Well, Keiretsu Forum is today more than ever a brand, and it's a branded product that allows people to lower their risk of investment while investing in a very high-risk area. But I have to tell 2 stories about you, Randy, because originally you tell people that you started Keiretsu Forum, which many of us refer to as friends of Randy, as a way to become a more disciplined investor. But I want to remind you that you also lost $50,000 on the golf course, and you don't always tell everybody that. So why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, that was a great story. It was before Keiretsu Forum, and I remember it was right here locally in Ruby Hills, and it's very interesting technology. But I didn't have the mind share. I didn't have the group of swarm intelligence we have at Keiretsu Forum. That's why I started. I needed smarter people around me. And so this entrepreneur kept bugging me, and hopefully a lot of you can empathize, kept bugging me, was persistent, but he had great knowledge. And so I said, okay, I'm going to give him a little flyer. I'll give him $25,000, right? You know, a little hope, you know. So I remember him driving up the gates right before I was about to tee off. He couldn't get in because he wasn't going to play golf, which is okay, but I came out the gate. And so I'm writing a check. This is back when I wrote checks, right? And I wrote $50,000 instead. Well, I lost all of it. I lost all of it, true story, because I didn't have knowledge around me. I had perception that this could work, you know, and so that's why I started Keiretsu. I started because of my lack of discipline, expertise, investor, and now my wife and I have made 53 investments, and we are approximately about 34% IRR on our money because I have smarter people like you around me.
Well, it's interesting because there were 2 books that were very provided the background for Keiretsu Forum when we first got started, and one was Malcolm Gladwell's A Tipping Point, and the other was the Wisdom of Crowds, Joseph Sawecki's book. And people have forgotten that we used those when things were being set up to say, here are the parameters that we want to work with. Plus, we're a very gracious organization. And when people come, they like the people that are there and they stay. You probably have, in the East Bay chapter, half of that chapter has been with you from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, again, for viewers who've never heard about angel investing or even Keiretsu Forum, we're a gracious Shark Tank. And we only have 5 minutes in this segment, Judy, so we have to get right through what we're trying to accomplish here. Is that let's talk about what's happened the last 16 years. We started September of 2000, and I started with 25 friends, and I said, let's do something different. Let's get together and analyze opportunities, but no one has a vested interest, including myself. So when a member makes an investment, in fact, we have a 6-month rule in Northern California. We have over 300 members. We ask you not to make an investment. Educate yourself. Get involved. Look at our shows. Talk to other members. People join Keiretsu because diverse deal flow, but they stay because of community. And now they have people they lean on. So what do you think about this deal? And so why don't you tell us about the evolution of September 2000, first chapter at East Bay, and where are we today?
Oh my goodness, today we're at 52 chapters around the world in 23 countries on 3 continents, and next year we hope to go into Africa and Latin America and Mexico. We haven't been there yet. We're not in Australia. We really have been lucky at Keiretsu Forum because the caliber of our members means that people say, I would like to take this concept, which is a fairly simple but a very professional process, back to my home, either my city or my region, and establish it there. So our chapter in Paris was started by an East Bay member. Our chapter in Spain was started through St. Mary's College that we work very closely with, and we have been really, really lucky that people come to Keiretsu, they become members, they understand the process, and once they do, they say, now let's expand. So we're in 52 places around the world now, but I was looking back at a PowerPoint presentation that we did in 2008, and we had 8 chapters, and today we're 52, and we seem to double in size every 5 years. We have about half of our chapter presidents are women, and we work very hard to bring women into the equation because, as you said earlier, they bring a different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does a chapter look like? You know, tell us, because your job description, which we never got to, is really to build out on the international scope chapter development. And so what is a perfect chapter president? What does she or he look like, and what are they trying to accomplish?
What they're trying to do is build membership, because we see lots of companies come through accelerators. We see lots of trade groups come from around the world. But at the end of that process, and everybody wants to come to Silicon Valley, they haven't met an investor. And we have the opportunity to put companies in front of investors and now to syndicate companies around the world. Last year we had a company called Bowtie that said we're going to do, I want to raise $3 million in 30 days by going around the world, and he raised a bit more than that.
Going around the world to our chapters? To
our chapters only, yeah. We have a syndication program that allows companies to do that, but they have to be seen in their home chapter first. And that's why it's really important that our chapter presidents are really grounded in what Keiretsu Forum does and how important it is to bring the members together on a regular basis and to follow this process that was developed in Northern California, which is sort of the secret sauce of what we do.
Well, the secret sauce has and always will be the magic of our members. And this segment is about the magic of Keiretsu. We just really a tipping point. We just put a little bit of emphasis. We have so much to talk about. But in the second segment, we're going to talk about what's next, what we're doing. We're talking about also, I always think it's disingenuous from venture capital. They always talk about the wins. We should talk about some of the losses, what we've learned, lessons learned. But let's also talk about where we're going the next 4 to 5 years and beyond. But before we conclude this, how has it changed your life? You have 10 seconds to...
I have a whole new community of friends around the world. I always knew a lot of people in California. I'm a native Californian, but now there are very few countries that I wouldn't go to that I don't know people who are as gracious as you are, Randy.
Well, thank you. And then, so tune in for segment 2 when we talk about the next iteration of Keiretsu Forum, and we're going to define what a member looks like at Keiretsu Forum globally. Thank you.